Welcome to the Business and Brews podcast, where our mission is to highlight local businesses in the Triangle area and shed light on different industries. Welcome back to the Business and Brews show. I'm Gevin, Vinson.
My name is Ryan Smeltson. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I have the pleasure of introducing to you Cam Byrd, who runs the YouTube channel Carolina Fragrance Reviews. So Cam, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Cameron Byrd, or Cam Byrd as everybody calls me. I am a father. I have a full-time job working with my family in automotive repair, and I run a YouTube channel where we do fragrance reviews and all sorts of fun things with very high-end production.
Nice.
Well, thank you for being here. We definitely appreciate having you on the show here. Definitely great. So, Ryan, you want to?
Absolutely. So, I did a little research. I think we might have taken a shortcut unintentionally because this is out of Virginia. However, tonight we are drinking Bold Rock Hard Cider. That's one of my favorites. So, here's to another good episode.
Oh, there you go. Thanks on the chart.
So Gavin, tell us a little about your week and little 4-year-old monster.
Oh yeah, it's been good, man. Being a father and a husband, as you probably get attested to, is always fun. hold your little one.
He will be 9 on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, so
nice.
Fun age. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, so always never a dull moment. He figured out how to play hide and seek at school, so he's been running around trying to play hide and seek with all my finance. Craziest thing I ever see. How about your week? How's your week been, Ryan?
Yeah, pretty good. So we're actually down there at the warehouse in Durham. We're actually doing a move, which I am heading the logistics on. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of inventory.
It's basically I compare it to the Army. Besides the fact that that's some of the only experience I have, I'm telling you, it's exactly the same.
Like, don't ask, don't tell the same? Or?
No, like large quantities of stuff and taking a lot of people and just being able to manage and delegate and execute. Yeah, definitely. Oh. Cam, what about you? What have you been up to?
Very, very, very busy. My plate is probably it's heaped.
Yeah.
I have a tendency to bite off more than I can chew, but I always wind up chewing it. So between a full-time job, running a channel, being a father, lots and lots and lots of networking and making phone calls, it's just that the job's never done. There's always something to do. There's not really such thing as downtime. This is about as downtime as it is.
Definitely. Well, I know Fayetteville is a ways away, so I appreciate you making the hump up here.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me on.
Yeah, definitely. So I think the number one question, especially because we know you're on YouTube, you run a YouTube channel. A lot of people have thought about it, or working on it, or maybe even currently doing it like us. Mm-hmm. And you have a significant following. So tell us about your subscribers, like your following. How did you get started, and how did you build it up to that point?
Well, actually, I watched a lot of channels before I started mine. I watched men's lifestyle channels, fashion, grooming tips, dating tips, that type of thing. I thought about launching a channel like that to begin with, but the competition is pretty freaking stiff. I mean, a lot of those guys have millions of subscribers, and I knew that I better have my crap together if I was going to do something like that. And, there wasn't so much I knew other than just what I do, So I've always been into fragrances my entire life. Ever since I was a kid, I was fascinated by them. And even I used to get picked on by I also played in bands and had we were playing metal, so you got a bunch of dudes playing metal and I'm in there spraying cologne on and stuff. So I did have some knowledge about it, but then it was more or less I just knew what smelled good. I didn't know about if it had vetiver or bergamot or any of that type of stuff. So I put myself in a crash course real quick to familiarize myself more with things. And watching other YouTubers, and then I kind of saw a void in the market, so to speak, with there was not really anybody with like super high-end production. If there was like a really small amount, and there's still a small amount, with the type of production that we do. But I've noticed that, more people are trying to step up their game. I always throw the hashtag thinking outside the box, because that's how we run our channel. We're always thinking of something fun or exciting to do other than just talk about a fragrance. Like, we have battles, we have special guests, we do crazy collaborations. We have some stuff planned for this year that's thinking way outside the box. That's, just that way. There's people that like to watch fragrance reviews, but they like to be entertained. So I figured if I did my channel with mixture of personality, entertainment, high-end production, and high-end information, that would be something unique. So it took me 2 years before I actually launched it, because procrastination more than anything, and like, it has to be perfect, it has to be this, it has to be that. And I listen to Gary Vee a lot, and Gary Vee had a very big influence on me, is like, just get the content out. So I was like, okay, I have to do this. So I had it in my head to be a certain way. I could have went with a little camera or whatever. I wanted to go in high-end production. So I knew a kid that was getting ready to get into like film school. I talked to him about it. He was all gung-ho, and then when he saw I was serious, he was like, okay, I don't think so. So so I knew another guy, and he had actually done some videography and some stuff like that. He had a YouTube channel of his own. I pitched it to him, and he was like, is fragrance reviews really a thing? I was like, yeah, it's a thing, man. and we might want to like get in now, so he believed in me enough to at least, come and try. And of course I paid him, and I've been paying him ever since, but it's more of a partnership now, because for what I'm paying him and how much we're doing compared to when we started, we were only putting out like an episode a week, where we're putting 3 episodes a week now. Wow. So he believed enough in me, and of course watching the channel grow and get popular and all that stuff, kind of threw some excitement in him. And then when he saw other channels kind of trying to get their bar up where we were, so I just like, okay, we're just going to keep going like that. So there's always a challenge there, but as long as we're kind of setting a pace or a tone for other people to follow, makes things kind of exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's an inspiring story, actually. So with that, just to kind of get an idea, like, how long have you had the channel so far?
We started in November 1st of 2018.
Okay.
So just a little over a year.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And there you started out with basically how many followers you think within the first, or subscribers in the first few?
Well, it seemed like it took forever to get to that first 1,000. That's what everybody says. It's like that's the hardest thing, is to get those first 1,000. Once you get them, they start coming quicker.
Yeah.
Then 2,000 seems like a little bit of a stretch. Then by the time I was even keeping up with it, we had hit like 4,000.
Wow.
And I think it's like at 4,300 now. And what I said is, after we hit 2,000, I'm not even keeping up with any of that until we hit 10,000.
Right.
That's the next goal. And then I'm just going to keep making the goal higher and higher and higher. And just not play about it, because one thing that happens is people get complacent, they get in a lull, or they get discouraged because they're not growing as fast as they would like to. So I try to, especially if somebody talks to me about it, I try to encourage them and say, look, get the content out. And to get into recommended feeds from YouTube, the more content that you put out, and it's consistent content, like at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, we have episodes coming out. So YouTube grabs that and it feeds it into the analytics, and then you get put in recommended feeds for channels that are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times bigger than you are. And then that's how you pull subscribers who are watching these other channels. And it's kind of cool, because I actually just recently downloaded YouTube Studio. I was just using like the standard version, and I downloaded the app, and then I'm actually able to track like these big channels that were in their recommended feeds. It shows you the exact video that brought subscribers over from their channel to yours and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it's pretty cool when you see that.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, especially guys that have been at it for like 6 or 7 years, and here I am a year in, I'm getting recommended in their feeds.
yeah. It's amazing. But I mean, I think the two things that pull out of that is definitely the consistency and the work ethic.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and just
Yeah,
like
you gotta have work ethic. You can't just go lily-livered into it and put out an episode every 2 or 3 weeks or something like that and think that you're actually going to grab traction.
Yeah.
You can't get complacent. You have to be like, okay, we got 3 episodes. I want to move us to 4 episodes. I want to move to 5 episodes. I eventually want to get to where I at least probably at the minimum 5 episodes a week, if not an episode every day.
Yeah.
Because that's what the guys who are really gaining traction, they've got an episode every day.
That's crazy, man. So you talked a lot about the different people that are involved. So who all or how many people do you have working on the channel, and like what are their different roles specifically?
I have one person that's with me consistently, and he is a film student. He goes to Full Sail University, and like when you see it roll up on our credits, it says editor Cliff Gore. He's been with me from day one, and he does all the editing. I do all the planning. I do all the marketing aspect. And he makes sure that everything looks good. And then I also have another guy that helps out, Kenny, the Fragrance Shark. He has a channel as well, but he's my art guy. So like we actually, the first logo we had was given to, I did miss something. Our first logo came from our sponsor, but I had a sponsor out the gates.
Wow.
Day one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How'd that come about? How'd you get that?
There was a guy who decanted and sampled, like people, like if some of these fragrances are really, really expensive, and if somebody wants to try them, instead of dropping $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 on a fragrance, you can go to his website and get a little 5 ml decant or a 10 ml or 30 or whatever. But I was buying samples from him to accumulate different fragrances that I could review, and I was sending a lot of business his way before I actually ever even launched my channel. And then I explained to him my idea, my goal, and he saw my work ethic, and plus I'd been sending him a lot of business. So we went on a 90-day trial, and he said, no promises, we'll just try it. And he basically covers my filming expenses. So he's still a sponsor of the channel to this day.
That is awesome.
But that's where we got our first logo from. He gave that to us as well as a logo that he was going to use. He decided to go with a different one. We changed the lettering. We used that. And then I met this guy, Kenny, and then he came up with another logo for us. I gave him some ideas. We are very, very like-minded. And he spun some stuff over. I said, that's pretty much what I had in my head. And then we wanted to up it some more. He actually helped me build our merchandise store on Teespring.
Nice.
And he came up with some more logo ideas. And then there was another channel that came out with something that looked really, really close to what we had. So he got really angry about that. And I wasn't thrilled about it either. Yeah. So I said, you know what, dude? Well, he said, what are we going to do now? So let's come out with, let's enhance the logo even more. So he came with like fire and brimstone. And I'm not kidding. That's literally what the logo looks like. It's in stone. It's got fire. It's got concrete dropping. So that was like, okay, you want some more? Bring it. Come on, we got more. So he's not technically like everyday operations, but he is a part of the team as well. So and then Mod, the guy who produced our intro. So I mean, we have people that are like ambassadors for the brand that are behind the scenes type thing or whatever. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to it to pull off the type of channel that we put. I mean, there's plenty of people who've got their iPhones, which is fine. And if somebody has an idea, especially if it's something unique, I know a lady who just started reviewing household items, vacuum cleaners, irons, blenders, whatever. And then she started getting brands sending stuff for her to try out and review. Now she does it full time. She got it to the point to where her husband was able to come home. He was into hunting and fishing. He has a hunting and fishing YouTube channel. So them two they're both full-time YouTubers. They batch their content out so they can go down and stay a month in Hawaii and they still got episodes uploaded.
Yeah. It's the dream they're building around your passion.
No kidding, man. And it's residual income too, because once you get to the point to where you're getting ad revenue, and you know, like that's set up, and then there's so many different ways that you can get revenue coming in with affiliate links, sponsors, you know, ad revenue from Google. There's a lot of different ways you can make money, and that's what you want to do. You want to diversify your incomes.
Right.
You have like 3, 4, 5 different streams coming in that way. If God forbid something does happen, or you get sick, your kid gets sick, or get injured, you still got money coming in.
Absolutely, that's definitely necessary.
Yeah.
So I mean, we talked a lot about work ethic and structure. It seems like you definitely have a structure or a plan in place. What does a typical day look like for you? Because you have to be involved in this, even though you have a full-time job. YouTube takes up a big part of your day. It sounds like
it does. It really does.
So when it comes to YouTube, like how's your day usually structured, like with your YouTube content or YouTube?
Well, what I'm doing, I'm always planning. Even though like I'm at work, if I have a chance, I'll make some notes about episodes that I want to work on. If there's somebody I need to call, like we have a massive collaboration coming out with some really significant channels. It's been 2 months in the making, part of it being filmed in the United Kingdom, part of it being filmed here, part of it being filmed in Boston, part of it being filmed in Asheville. It's just like a lot of moving parts, so I'm constantly messaging people, calling people. And that's not a typical week, but that's what I'm currently doing. But there's usually something like that going on where there's always notes being taken, there's always phone calls being made, messages, and then of course I'm constantly pushing social media, Instagram, Facebook, all that, just to get it out there in front of as many people as possible.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've got your plan out for the year, and you've got your daily operations down pretty well. So what does it look like for you? Like, what is your experience when you sit down and record an episode?
Well, what we do right now is on Wednesday night is our filming night, and we'll batch anywhere from 3 to 5 episodes.
Okay.
And then sometimes there's a need to do more. So yesterday we filmed like 5 episodes because Wednesday night we were only able to film 2 because my ex-wife, she and I are, we have joint custody. Right. So if she's got to go to work, she knows if I'm not at work, I'm going to take my kid. I'll even take him if I'm at work, because of being in a family business, he can come and be with me.
Nice.
So she was like, look, I got to go in and work like stupid early in the morning, so would it be cool if he just crashed with you? I was like, yeah, absolutely. So we had to cut the filming short, but we got enough out to get us where we would be okay, and then with the knowledge of we're going to go ahead and film Saturday. And then we got this collaboration that is almost done. There's just a couple little moving parts that we should have wrapped up this week. So hopefully we'll, the plan is to try to get it out for Valentine's Day.
Nice.
Because it's actually a date night fragrance battle. But it's going to be really, really in depth. I mean, it may not look like it when you watch it, because when it's all edited, you would never know that there was so many moving parts. But over 2 months of planning and numerous people involved, people who are very significant in the community where we are. So it's going to be exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We definitely have to be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, you definitely want to check that out. So it's going to be, hopefully we'll get it out on Friday. That's the plan. So it's going to be a busy week getting all that. Because when we have like huge collaborations like this, we like to do trailers and put those out on Instagram and YouTube, Facebook, and stuff like that. And they're, like a couple of them have been almost like theatrical trailers.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
He's trying to take it up another level.
So where do the ideas come from for the actual episodes that you do? Like, is that kind of a collaborative effort, or is it something
It's me.
It's all you? Okay.
Yeah, it's me. Once in a while, like I'll have an idea, and then Cliff might say, it sounded like you were going in another direction. What do you think about that, or whatever? So, occasionally he'll toss out an idea, but 99% of the time it's me. Now, in the edit, sometimes he'll think of something funny or something like that, that we can throw in there. With the copyright stuff, the way it is on YouTube, there, like YouTube of yesteryear, where you could throw little slapstick stuff in there, off of movies or, whatever. Like if I had the capabilities to use that anytime I want, our stuff would be like way out there, but we actually did one at Christmas time and we got a copyright claim from Warner Brothers.
Oh, nice.
And, but it wasn't a copyright strike. So, all it was, they basically just said your ad revenue is going to Warner Brothers, so. But the video turned out so good, I didn't care. What we did, we used a shot from the Griswolds, the Christmas Vacation.
Oh,
yeah. When he was in the, do you remember when he was at the mall and the girl was at the cosmetic counter and he was just stuttering and mumbling and all that stuff? I threw that in, like saying, I was basically saying, like, if you've been trying to get your nerve up to talk to that hottie at the cosmetic counter, and then it breaks to Griswold doing that, and then the next morning I see copyright claim Warner Brothers. It's like, okay.
That's crazy. So I take it you've learned a lot about that stuff.
Yeah. There is. We actually we even worked with a big up and coming country artist that we featured his music on an episode the other day, and it's got his permission. He actually did a collaboration with me. We have plans of doing future collaborations. Want to do one on his tour bus. His name is JB or Jacob Bryant.
Okay.
He's from Jasper, Georgia.
Okay.
And he's currently touring with like Rascal Flatts. He rides around in his car with Jason Aldean's producer. He grew up with Brantley Gilbert, so he's going to the top, and it's weird when you see somebody that beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're gonna see like on the CMA Awards or something like that. But he's into fragrances, so
nice.
So that's something we have in common. But music is something we have in common too, because I'm a musician. So it's weird when you see who all is like actually into fragrances, and then if you can pull a collaboration out of it, it's even better. Yeah.
So how big is the fragrance community or the fragrance?
It's big.
It's pretty big.
It's really big.
So the larger channels in your space, like how many subs or how big are those channels in your space?
Well, I guess I should be careful with saying really big, because that are just like solely fragrance, 100,000 plus.
Okay.
Well, there's a few channels. Well, there's another one that's like got 500,000. But then I've noticed that those lifestyle channels I was telling y'all about, they have really started focusing on fragrance, like a lot. Okay. They talk about it a lot. They do collaborations with fragrance channels and stuff like that. So they realize that it is a bubbling market.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So, you got started. You've been going for about a year. You've got your plan out this year. Long term, where do you see this going?
I want to take it as far as it'll go. I have a friend who is actually helping me blueprint things the right way.
Yeah.
Because there are the right way of doing things, and then there's people who like to take shortcuts.
Right.
And when you take shortcuts, you're not going to have staying power.
No.
And you may get, like that instant gratification. You might get that brand deal, that'll just last for a little while. You might get some free product or whatever. But how I'm learning to do it is work with like internet stores. Like there's one like fragrance.net. There's numerous different ones. And then you have affiliate links. And then when they click, whether they buy anything or not, you get pays per click. Then if they buy something, you get commission off of that.
Right.
And a lot of them have different plans how they pay, whether it's 8%, 10%, $500 a month, whatever the case may be. But a lot of these guys are out here just like trying to soar to the top, but what they're doing is they're not staying in touch with their subscribers because they'll hype up anything. If they get something for free, let's just say that this tasted like piss. You know, we're talking about this stuff is the most amazing thing. Only difference is this costs $300 or $400.
Yeah.
By the time your subscribers spend $1,000, you talk about your regular middle class guy that's got a family and he goes and dumps $300 or $400 on fragrances. Crap.
Yeah.
He's not going to be too happy with you.
Yeah.
And your subscribers will know that you're a shill. Yeah. That you're just out here just hyping whatever to get money and you know, and that's shortcutting. So I don't plan to do it that way. I want to do it long term. Like my buddy I was telling you about, he's making significant money by doing it the right way, and he's not selling his soul to do it.
Right.
So that's how I plan to do it too.
Oh, perfect. And you know, with this, I'm sure along the journey it hadn't been all roses. And
No, no, not at all. It's been. There's been times where the road has been bumpy.
Yeah.
There's
what are some of the challenges that you're currently facing, or some of the things you're trying to get over the hump with?
Like the earlier bumps were basically like you've got like with me and Cliff. Sometimes we would clash. I mean, just like our personalities at first clashed a lot, and it was just a matter of like me understanding him, him understanding me. Let's just agree to disagree. And when you're working as a team, you know, even like, you know, whether it's a marriage or a football team or whatever, you've got different personalities. But if you both have to have the same goal, the end game goal, you know. So that seemed to be one of the more taxing things at first for me anyway. I don't know if he felt the same way or not, but that was because I was concerned, like, are we going to be able to keep doing it this way, or am I going to have to get somebody else or whatever, you know? But we had those heart talks and, you know, just aired it out and got it over with. And then there's, you know, the thing that's tricky with YouTube too is, you know, it's like sometimes you feel like you're in a lull, you know, and then once you learn how all that works, they're just like, okay, January sucks for everybody on YouTube. It is what it is. I talk to guys who have huge channels, they're like, it sucked, you know. So it's like, okay, whatever, we'll get over January and we're done. Just like the video today is like rocking and rolling, you know, like I've used the term analytic erection. And in January it had ED, you know. So, and when you look and you see your analytics doing like this, and it shows like your average over here, and it shows you doing like that, you know, you're doing something right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So, you know, and of course, I guess the current challenge is keeping things fresh.
Yeah.
You don't want to get stale. You always want to keep pushing. You just don't want to be doing the same thing week after week after week and get complacent. And people get bored with you. So in order to grow, you have to not get complacent. And then, you know, also the challenge of working between 60 and 70 hours a week at a regular job, as well as being a father,
keep it all afloat.
And then running a YouTube channel. I have to have that end game goal, because that's a lot. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of patience. Patience is really, really, really imperative. So if I was to say anybody who's thinking about starting a YouTube channel, do it. Yeah. But if you're going to do it, go balls out.
Yeah. I like that.
That's good advice.
Ready for the next segment?
Absolutely.
Next segment on our show is the 3 questions we have brewing. We ask you just 3 questions that we ask every guest. I'll kick it off with number 1. If you don't mind. Did you trim your beard?
A while ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just noticing that his beard used to be a lot. Sorry, that's completely random. That's not one of the questions, by the way. That's a rapid fire question for Ryan. That's very random. Anyway, first question: what content are you currently consuming? It could be a channel that you currently follow. It could be a book you're reading, blog posts, or whatever you're currently consuming.
Book. I'm reading 3 Feet from Gold.
What's that about?
It is actually about a guy who's chasing his dreams. He was washed up. He was arrogant. He was losing his relationships, his job, everything. He happened to run into like this big time guy that left his coat in a cab and had his business card in there. And he's like, "Holy crap!" And he goes and takes the coat back up to the guy, but he goes up there being really cocky. So the guy's like, but then he saw the potential in him and thought that maybe he could work with him or whatever. And he winds up sending him off to go meet the guy who founded Chick-fil-A and like all these CEOs of these multi-billion billion-dollar operations, and got him to pick their brains and got his life back on track. But the actual thing about 3 Feet from Gold, it talks about a story about a family in California that had this property, and they were mining for gold, and they got frustrated. They gave up. They sold the land. The people who bought it, they mined 3 feet and hit gold. So the thing is like. You never know when you're 3 feet from gold, so just keep grinding.
I like that.
Grinding.
I like that. We'll add that to the list.
As far as like content that I watch, YouTube, with me having a kid, I watch a lot of kid channels, like Funnel Vision, Collins Key, things like that. But as far as when I need to ingest, I try not to watch too many fragrance channels because I don't want anything they're saying to influence anything that I'm doing. So I do have a couple of friends' channels that I watch, but I don't even consume all of their stuff. I do it because I like them and they have good content. I used to watch a lot of like lifestyle channels, but now as a YouTuber, it doesn't seem like I watch as much YouTube as I did before I was a YouTuber. Unless it's stuff I'm watching with my kid. So I watch a buttload of kid YouTube channels. But they're actually like the FGTV. I actually enjoy that. It's like the dad is super hyper, but he's super brilliant. And sometimes I'm actually inspired by things that he does with it's a family channel, but he does like crazy editing and all kinds of crazy skits, and they actually are merchandising now. They have their products in Walmart and Target, GameStop, and Amazon. So that's how far you can take it with a YouTube channel.
That's the limit, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So Cam, you got a kid, you got a full-time job, you run a YouTube channel. If you happen to find a hair of free time, what do you like to do for fun?
Let's see. Well, I mean, any free time that I have, if my son's with me, obviously I'm going to spend every single second of that with him. I know it won't be long before he's gone from the house, out chasing women like I was. And then also, I like to listen to music. Working in the yard, chilling, Netflix, I don't get a whole lot of time like that. So when I do, it's usually just stuff to try to just recharge the battery. I don't club anymore. I don't, like my women chasing is at a minimum, so I'm just too busy. And then having a kid, I've seen how people who like to drag their relationships in around their kids, and it's not healthy at all. And it seems like everybody's, and when I say, I use that loosely when I say everybody, but people don't have the same commitment level that they used to. A lot of people, they want everything like perfect right out the gates, and then they want to control you and all that. So I'm not down with that, So I don't have time to deal with somebody who's like really needy or trying to be controlling or something like that. I've did those are like the last ones that I tried to actually have a relationship with. And they're like, you don't have enough time to do anything. I'm like, well, you knew that before.
That's how it is.
You knew how the deal was.
That's how it is.
Is it okay if I ask the last one?
You don't have to ask me permission.
I got a plan. So the reason I wanted to interrupt there is because I put the link to your YouTube channel into the live video,
Awesome.
and I'll tag that. So of course everybody's going to go subscribe because that's the type of show we run here.
Awesome.
So besides your YouTube channel, what's the best way for people to find you?
They can follow me on Instagram at cam.byrd. Facebook, there is CFR Fragrance Lounge or Carolina Fragrance Reviews. CFR Fragrance Lounge will be the best place to follow the channel.
Okay.
If they want to follow me on Facebook, I mean, of course, I have to accept their friends.
Yeah.
but that's Cam Byrd on Facebook. But
Nice.
I mean, I'll leave it pretty open on the CFR Fragrance Lounge, and of course on Instagram. And then of course they can always comment down in the videos on YouTube, and I respond to all comments.
Nice.
That's something I made a promise from day one. I know it's going to get really difficult. It's actually difficult to do it now sometimes, and it might take me a week to get to everybody's comment. But unless somebody's on there talking trash, I'll respond.
That's the Gary V in you.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So I guess before we head out this time, guys, thanks everybody for tuning in, and I hope that I really appreciate you driving all that way to come do this episode with us.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So if you guys found any value tonight in this episode, learning from Cam here how to start and run a successful YouTube channel, whether you want to do yours on fragrances or something else, or maybe you're just interested in fragrances and not YouTube, we have a great resource right here for that. So please head over to his channel and hit subscribe, because that's how you're going to be able to connect with him and see what kind of content he's putting out, and it'll bring to life everything that we just talked about. So that being said, if you find any value in our show as well, what I want you to do is share it, okay? Liking, following, subscribing definitely always helps us, but the content here is only going to reach other people by sharing and spreading the word. So please do that. This is a viable business. If you've been looking for a side hustle and weren't sure what you wanted to do, or all of our previous episodes didn't really fit your forte, then maybe you could put together a YouTube channel, and that would be a phenomenal place to start. So thanks once again to our audience, to Cameron for coming by. I appreciate it. And you want to do the exit?
It sounds like you already did it. Hey, thank you for coming in, and we'll see you guys on the next show. Thanks so much for tuning in.
So I cut the live, but of course camera's still on. My CPU was getting very angry. I think I was trying to do 1080p on the live, and it was.
Well, Valentine's Day's coming up. Maybe you should buy some more RAM.
If you, it's not RAM. I got 24 gigs of RAM. It's my CPU. If you're ever sitting there and you look at that screen, and I think it's one of these, and the number turns yellow or red while we're rolling live. It's not up there now, but while we were rolling, you kept seeing me glance over there. It was turning red, and I'm like, and actually, I should have thought to check that setting beforehand and do like 720, because with Miss Kim, it was going red, and I was like, and then it just shut down. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So you've got a guy that, see, I do all the production and editing and everything. So I have Premiere Pro. So I could I could even take my After Effects and like put in special effects. But our episodes are very simple, and I have a template I use where I drop it in because, time. So you having an editor frees up.
Yeah, but see, that was the plan, because I during that 2 years while I was figuring everything out, I watched a lot of tech channels. I watched a lot of things about like the best editing software, the best cameras, the best lighting, best economical studio setup. I researched all that stuff, and having music under my belt. The editing part, I don't think would be too complicated as far as like basic editing.
Right.
Especially with the software that they have now. You have to be computer illiterate to not be able to do at least basic editing. But I wanted high-end production, so I have a film school, a film student.
From Full Sail, which is a great school.
And that's right. I knew that I would have to. I was going to have to not sleep, because I knew that would be my only other option.
Right.
Just like stay up really late and edit those videos, and drop a buttload of money too. Now I could have went in half cocked, like I was talking about, like.
Right,
And I have a lot of friends who do that, and they're really frustrated, because what has happened since my channel has launched, channels are popping up like you would not believe. I mean, they're it's just right here in our market. I mean, there are tons, hundreds of fragrance channels just everywhere. So some of these guys who had a little trouble getting traction are really having trouble now, because they're getting lost in translation with all these new channels popping up.
So how do you stand out from the other guys? Is the thing whenever
I have that. I got in time. Had I started, it would have been. I would have had 3 years under my belt if I just sort of went ahead and figured that out then. But it took me the 2 years to figure out, like, I ain't gonna have time to do all this editing and stuff unless I sacrifice what I want to do.
Right.
And I'd already made my mind up of how I wanted the channel to look, to come across, to feel, I wanted it to be funny and energetic and personality driven and high-end production.
Definitely.
We've achieved that. Just took some patience. And
Dude, I've been doing it for like 3 years, and the only reason we are where we're at now is because he was like, hey, we should do this show together. Like, this was his idea.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I can like separate and keep doing mine.
Yeah.
And add something to my plate. Or I can just rebrand, because all my stuff was already monetized, but I wasn't getting any traction because it's difficult.
It is.
And so I was like, well, we rebranded everything. So like, if you really dig, I think, because it took me a while to get it done, you can probably find some videos on Facebook or like our podcast, because I didn't delete old episodes. You'll find episodes that have to do with like e-commerce and retail and stuff like that. But oh, that's your. What's that noise? You can take that if you need to.
Oh, it's my editor, actually.
Can we leave the camera on?
Yeah, you can leave the camera on. Hey, man. Yeah, I'm in Raleigh. Yeah. But I'll hit you up when I leave. All right, dude. Later.
Interesting. But yeah, so I rebranded and we started doing this, and what I found, I think one of our biggest successes is local, and the other thing too is because he's a real estate agent, I'm e-commerce, and we did our first 2 episodes. It was me and him interviewing each other. So like now we won't have another YouTuber on for a while because we've already done it.
Right.
And
so it's that thing of having to figure out to get something different.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're trying to touch on several different aspects of e-commerce and stuff like that. So I can imagine where that would be a little bit of a challenge, but there's a lot of businesses in Raleigh. Is a good thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tons of business. It's just a matter of getting out there. But I know that even people with that old school mentality know that e-commerce is like the only way to grow unless you have a really, really, really solid customer base of repeat business.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to have that piece to it.
Yeah.
We might actually, I gotta shoot him a text, but we might have an HVAC guy on next week. I'd be excited.
I think your brother felt about that. Your brother's HVAC, right?
He's plumber.
Plumber. I'm thinking HVAC.
Well, I tell you what, there's big money in HVAC.
Yeah, there is.
And see, like an episode like that would be really good for somebody looking like a technical vocation where they can make a really good living, especially like if you get a gig working for a university or a big business or where you're on full time. I know a few guys that, like, one works at Methodist College in Fayetteville. I know one works at the Goodyear plant, and they have like full-time HVAC people.
Yeah. So
They're staffed.
with your channel, you've got your editor, you've got you, and that's basically you guys get together and do it, and then he edits the video.
Yep.
So what's your next step of outsourcing? Like, what's going to become so overwhelming that you can't handle it with you two that you have to get somebody else to help out?
It would probably, I've actually thought about somebody, if we get that big, the next step would be somebody to handle the social media aspect, making sure that everything is taken care of on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, because that can get overwhelming. I mean, even with how it is right now, sometimes I'm overwhelmed with it. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like when we've got 60,000 subscribers. My friend Ashton that I was telling you about that lives in Johnson City, Tennessee, I got on a live feed with him one night. We were on the phone. He's like, hey man, I'm fixing to go live. So he didn't bring me on screen with him, but, I just went over, popped on and watched. It's like that dude's a rock star, man. I mean, it's like he could everything. Just comments. I was like, holy crap. It's like, when did you lose your virginity? What color are your eyes? And I was like, oh man,
it's all over the place.
All over the place, man. And then like this one guy was getting belligerent because like he wouldn't answer his question. And of course, when you go live, you can pay to get your comment put to the top. Right. But he didn't want to do that. And like I talked to Ashton afterwards, he said, I didn't see the guy's comment until like I started seeing the same thing, like all and what he was doing, like he put in all caps, Issey Miyake, which is a brand. Mm-hmm. And he just kept putting Issey Miyake. And he's like, what about freaking Issey Miyake? And then the guy was talking about, if you don't answer my question, I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel. And he was like, you know what, dude? He said, you didn't. And then he had his attention. He was on live then. He was like, you know what, dude? He's like, if you actually asked a question and waited, he said, you don't see like thousands of people on here. Yeah. He's like, if you want to unsubscribe. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. And he said 3 more people will subscribe by the time you unsubscribe. So I'm not even sweating you.
That's crazy.
No.
So him saying that brings something up, and I don't know if I would have talked about this on live or not, but I found this new game that happens on the internet. So if you're not aware of it, I'll give you a heads up, especially if you do lives with your real estate. Mm-hmm. But, and I actually play, and you can get different reactions from people. But a live video goes up, and it'll be public or Facebook page or something, and they'll take it and they'll share it to a group. Now one of the groups I'm in has 30,000 people in it, and then they play couch auction. Okay, so you get on there and you just say stuff like to bid on the couch. How much is the couch? What color is the couch? If it's a woman, you say, sir, I'm here about the couch. If it's a man, you say, ma'am, I'm here about the couch.
Really?
Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because many people get confused or get pissed off. Don't. because I have seen people that have 3 legitimate viewers
Mm-hmm.
and 127
from that group.
couch.
Yeah.
Couch group.
So
Get
granted,
overwhelmed. They're
they
like, what the
are not.
fuck?
Granted, they are, not actually there for whatever you're running the live video.
Yeah.
That significantly boosts your content in the algorithms.
Yeah.
So just a heads up, if you ever do a Facebook Live and you see
Yeah.
someone
I didn't
saying
hear about
something
that.
weird,
Yeah.
it's a fun game to play. I'll
Yeah,
tell you,
well,
it's so much fun.
I tell you what, in my
People
and
are
I have a moderator or administrator for my group.
Mm-hmm.
He uploads content in there and stuff. Dude, I am like almost not even active in it, to be honest with you.
No.
But now if somebody tags me or whatever,
Yeah, it's
I'll
different,
check
yeah.
it out. Yeah. But he's just a guy who loves doing it, so he even asked. He's like, why don't you start your own Facebook group for the channel where people can interact and upload this. Well, I was like, man, I don't really have a need for that. He's like, I'll be your administrator. I was like, well, let's do it then. Here, go ahead, But there's this guy. He's such a freaking prick. I don't know. I know he's sketchy.
Yeah.
I just know it. It's like I'm a pretty good judge of character. If anything, like I've made some mistakes with being a bad judge of character with women, but when it comes to dudes, I can read them inside out and backwards,
Yeah.
And he's a fragrance reviewer, but he comes off like a grimy car salesman, like a used car salesman, like from the '80s with the suit that's too big with the shoulder pads. It's just like
a badger.
Yeah, dude. And so he was getting trolled in my group.
Huh.
And so then the administrator calls me. He's like, dude, we got a situation. I'm like, what is it? Because I told him, I was like, I don't want no drama. Don't let anybody start new crap. He's like, well, this is kind of taking a direction I don't know what to do. I said, well, let me take a look at it.
Yeah.
And so then he calls me. He's like, I don't need this crap. I was like, dude, just get out the group, man. Just get out the group. Just leave. And then I reached out to the person I saw that there was some antagonizing going from both directions.
Mm-hmm.
And it come to find out it was a fake account that like 4 people are under.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, dude, he's like, the guy that I was talking to, he said it could be like 1 or 4 guys on this account. He's like, but we troll people. We like to get reactions out of people.
Mm-hmm. And
And we hate this guy, And I was like, well, that's understandable. And he said, they told me some of the other stuff that they've done to, and he said that sometimes they'll do the opposite, build somebody up if they like them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it usually depends on how the group as a whole feels about that one particular individual, whether they're going to be uplifting or troll the hell out of them.
Yeah.
He's like, I am not like your biggest fan or anything. But he said the other three dudes love you. And he said, but now after talking to you, I think I like you too. He's like, I didn't quite know how to take you because he said you come off like a little cocky or arrogant. I said, no, it's confidence, dude. There's a big difference.
Yeah, difference definitely.
That's crazy. So I'm gonna get some input from you because this is pretty new for us, and just being portable. I'm not opposed to going to his office because the appearance is much more professional.
Yeah.
But being portable is challenging.
Yes.
And this is what we want to do once he gets a new place, set up maybe a studio in the garage.
Yeah.
Maybe offer it to other people if they want to do shows.
We actually thought about doing the same thing.
So looking at what we got going on here, if this was your shindig,
Mm-hmm.
what would you do, or what improvement would you make?
This right here,
Mm-hmm.
I would. Do y'all have a logo?
Yes.
Put a big logo. You can order a poster cheap with your logo on it online. I'd put that on. I'd aesthetically just make it look a little more professional or whatever, because it doesn't look bad on camera, to be honest with you.
So one thing I was going to do, I was going to put those pads up and cover them with felt.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a lot of studios have a lot darker presentation.
Yeah.
So I was actually thinking it's kind of good you didn't bring that tablecloth. I was thinking about covering them in black felt.
Yeah.
And how would that look with our lighting?
Well, I wouldn't do that much. Well, you can go to Walmart and buy colored bulbs. If you'll see, like even like on my intro, you'll notice that was like what we used a blue light and a red light with 2 lamps, and then we did like what are they called? Shadow box.
Yeah, see, yeah.
Yeah, we had a shadow box. Had a shadow box back here. Then we had the lighting like that. Now
right
it's exactly. You could do something like that. I mean, you could go with. I mean, like film school teaches those 2 colors, blue and red. But I have seen other people use like pink and yellow, which looks nice as well. Just depending on what kind of vibe or ambiance you're going for. Even light like a lamp, just somewhere or whatever. Like if you have, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this table. There's nothing wrong with this setup, and of course you gotta crawl before you walk.
Exactly.
But you could get like maybe like a round table or a nicer table. Just put a little plant there, put your logo up there, and just keep it simplistic, but make it look cozy.
Yeah, make it look cozy and higher quality.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I would personally do. But see, now all we have to worry about, since I'm on green screen, is we just have to have the proper lighting and soundproofing. But that room, I actually thought about, you can go on Amazon and buy all kinds of, wild looking walls. I actually watched a tutorial on how to build a studio out of a small place, and with the proper lighting, and like the wall, it sticks over the top of this right here, and you could have a brick wall, you could make it look stone. I mean, there's like millions of options, and you can go on YouTube and just type in, like YouTube studio ideas or whatever, and then of course you can just watch what they're doing, and of course put your own spin on it, and find what you need. Amazon's got anything I've ever seen on any of those tutorials. Amazon had whatever it was that they were using, and like this one guy, he had just a little corner, a part of a room, and he made it fit the frame, and he boxed it out where it fit the frame, did the lighting, he put a sofa back there, and I mean, dude, it was like a massive, it didn't even look like the same room whatsoever, because all you want to do is whatever the camera's picking up.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. I mean, it could be a rickety shack around it, and it looked like you've got $1 million studio there, Because that just like whenever I did mine, people were like, "Holy crap! You upped your game on your studio." I was like, "That studio comes from story blocks." And luckily, Cliff, it was funny too, because he was taking a course on green screen.
So it all came right there.
It all came right in time, because I was like, dude, our options would be wide open if we could just roll with green screen. Because I was actually going to, because there's a door just like that, and this is pretty much about the size of the room that we're filming in. And from here over, I was going to put some ambient looking lighting there. And above the door, I actually talked to a guy in Charlotte that makes logo boxes. He's got that's something you guys could do. If that is caught in the, I don't know if that's in the shot or not.
I think so.
But you could get one with a YouTube play button up above it and have on air, or you could put your logo on there.
So the hesitation on everything you're saying, I thought about getting our logo and putting it up there. It's I can do that because I have chroma key on this, so I have a green screen. Without the green screen, I can put our logo on that wall without actually buying anything.
Absolutely.
So it's if we're gonna be here for a while, get the stuff and set it up. If we're not, because the downside to just projecting it onto the wall
Yeah.
is that like if his head's just slightly over that way,
Yeah, you have to cut everything.
you know. But so long term, we just buy the actual stuff and set it up like you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you could
If
just
it
go
turns
buy
out-
it cheap. You could just you could order a poster
But then again,
online.
if we set up once you have your place,
Mhm.
then we're just moving all this anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like it's going to get wasted if we.
No,
invest in it.
absolutely not. Yeah. And I know like something that a lot of people talk about are just like just simple lighting. You know, just go to like Dollar General and buy a little lamp to put on a table right there, or a plant, or
Mhm.
just little things like that that draw people's eyes in, that makes them think that it's a more cozy environment. If that's what you're going for, if you want to make it look a more professional
Right.
environment, you can. There's little tiny things. You can go spend $50 and make it look 100% different.
So it is.
But it don't look bad at all. I mean, I'm just looking at the shot. I mean, like if you had like a a little fern and a table and a lamp and your logo or something, that'd probably make a big difference in the shot.